$3,000 or 7.7 million. Those are your two extremes for bringing a car with your motorhome. And between those numbers, there are 6 completely different ways to do it. Some genius, some garbage. Let's break all of them down. 6 different ways exist to bring a car along when you travel in a motorhome, and they range from a $3,000 tow bar setup all the way to a $7.7 million German land yacht with a Bugatti tucked underneath the living room floor. If you've ever pulled your Class A into a campground and dreaded the idea of unhooking 45 feet of coach just to grab groceries in town, this one covers every option worth knowing about. We're walking through built-in garages, toy haulers, Super C rigs, flat towing, tow dollies, and trailers. What each one costs, what actually fits inside, and which solution lines up best with how you travel. So let's get into it. Yacht owners figured this out first by storing tenders in hull garages, and that same thinking eventually made its way into motorhomes. A German company called Vöhner turned the concept into reality back in 1997 when they rolled into the Dusseldorf Caravan Salon with their 830 HG, an 8.3-meter motorhome carrying a tiny Fiat Seicento on a rear hydraulic platform. What made that moment surprising was Vöhner's background. Gerhard Vöhner had spent the previous 2 decades since 1976 building trailers and horse transporters, not luxury coaches. But that little Fiat sliding into the back of a motorhome opened a door nobody could close. A Fiat Punto garage mounted on a Volvo bus chassis followed in 1998, and by 2001 the company had moved on to a Mercedes Actros, carrying a smart car. Then came the real breakthrough in 2006 when Vöhner patented a central garage that positions the car between the front and rear axles instead of behind them. The vehicle enters from the side on a hydraulic platform, tucks underneath the living space, and lowers the center of gravity in the process. Nobody else has managed to copy that design. America's version of this story took a completely different route. Four Winds International built the Fun Mover in 1996, the first Class C motorhome with a rear garage, and those units served as support vehicles for the Atlanta Olympics torch relay. Television coverage from the relay sparked massive consumer interest, and that lineage runs straight through to Thor's outlaw toy hauler motorhome line today. When money stops being a factor, the Vöhner Mobile Performance S sits at the very top. Built on a Volvo bus chassis pumping out up to 503 horsepower, its patented central garage swallows cars up to 4.62 meters long, which covers Porsche 911s, BMW A8s, and Mercedes AMG GTs. That hydraulic platform slides out from the side, drops to ground level, accepts the car, retracts underneath the living quarters, and then doubles as an outdoor terrace when the vehicle is unloaded. A base configuration starts around $1.7 million, with most buyers spending north of $2.4 million once options pile up. The 2021 show model carrying a Bugatti Chiron totaled $7.7 million, and every automotive outlet on the planet covered it as the most expensive motorhome ever displayed. Every single unit is bespoke, and each one takes roughly 12 months to complete. Varomobile approaches the problem differently with their Perfect 1200 Platinum, a triple-axle Mercedes-Benz Actros with 530 horsepower and a rear cantilevered platform they call the Easy Slide. That system handles everything from a Smart 4.2 up to a Porsche 911, and they even include an onboard EV charging station for electric cars stored in the garage. Base pricing lands just above $1 million, backed by over 40 years of production history from their factory in Boomte, Germany. Hungary's Dembell entered the conversation in 2021 with a system where hydraulic tracks pull a car into the motorhome's belly, while a separate hydraulic lift raises the bedroom ceiling overhead. Their large garage model fits a Ferrari California at $1.5 million, and the interiors come from the same Azimuth superyacht design team that outfits ocean-going vessels. And here's what American buyers need to understand. Because no mainstream U.S. motorhome manufacturer currently offers a production model with a true integrated car garage. Provost's monocoque chassis blocks underfloor garages. American Class A diesel pushers mount the engine at the rear where a car would go, and the 45-foot legal length cap leaves almost no room to fit a garage alongside proper living space. European builders dodge all of that by using purpose-built truck chassis rated at 26 tons on 3 axles, platforms that flat out don't exist in the American RV market. What the US does have are Super C motorhomes on commercial truck chassis, and 2 companies in Indiana are doing serious work filling the gap. Hauler Trucks in Middlebury stands alone as the only American manufacturer regularly building motorhomes with real car garages. Their builds ride on Freightliner, Peterbilt, or Kenworth Class 8 chassis with gross vehicle weight ratings above 50,000 pounds, and they offer garages stretching up to 16 feet with car lifts and hydraulic lift gates. One configuration stacks a car on an upper deck above the bedroom with a golf cart garage underneath. Pricing falls between $400,000 and over $700,000, and the company has delivered more than 2,000 units across 20-plus years of production. Renegade RV in Bristol offers their classic line on Freightliner Cascadia or Volvo chassis with a standard 9 by 4 foot garage that can be stretched to 18 by 8 feet with 7.5 foot ceilings. That custom sizing turns it into legitimate car carrying space at a similar $400,000 to $700,000 price point. For American buyers who want a car riding inside their motorhome without spending European money, Hauler and Renegade represent the 2 most realistic paths. Fitting a car in a toy hauler is technically doable, but the margins are razor thin and only a handful of models even come close. A standard car demands 14 to 16 feet of garage length, 6+ feet of width, and at least 5 feet of height. Most toy hauler garages top out between 10 and 14 feet, which works for ATVs and motorcycles but falls short for anything with 4 wheels and doors. 3 models push into that car-capable zone. The Heartland Cyclone 4118 carries the largest mainstream production garage at 17 feet 9 inches with a 21,000-pound gross vehicle weight rating priced around $92,000 to $100,000. Over at Lux, the 48FB delivers a 16-foot 4-inch garage and an impressive 27,000-pound GVWR for an estimated $250,000 plus. ATC builds purpose-built aluminum fifth wheels with garages reaching 18 feet 5 inches, designed specifically for racing vehicles and probably the strongest toy hauler option for hauling a car. But here's the thing the brochures leave out entirely. Weight kills the math. A 2,000-pound smart car devours most of a toy hauler's cargo carrying capacity, which leaves almost nothing for water, propane, and personal gear. 96 inches of interior width means 12 to 16 inches of clearance on each side of a parked car, not enough room to crack the doors. Owners do haul Smart for 2s, Fiat 500s, and lightweight race cars in the biggest fifth-wheel toy haulers, but calling it comfortable would be generous. Now for the method that dominates the real world for motorhome owners across the country, flat towing. You connect the car behind the motorhome with all 4 wheels rolling on the ground using a tow bar, a base plate, and a supplemental braking system. Professional installation runs $3,000 to $5,000 total, and once you've practiced the routine, hookup takes 1 to 2 minutes. The car parks itself at camp with 0 extra footprint, which alone makes this the default choice for millions of RVers. Jeep Wrangler owners already know their vehicle has held the #1 flat-towed spot for decades, trailed by the Ford Bronco, Jeep Gladiator, 4-wheel drive Ford F-150, and the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. Blue Ox, Roadmaster, and Demco manufacture the major tow bars, with pricing between $600 and $1,500 depending on the model and capacity. One developing issue deserves your attention if you're considering an electric vehicle as your towed car, because right now not a single fully electric vehicle on the market can be flat-towed. EV motors connect directly to the wheels without a true mechanical neutral. Stellantis filed a patent in January 2025 for a potential fix, but nothing production-ready exists yet, which means EV owners face a flatbed trailer or a toy hauler as their only options. Tow dollies occupy the middle ground by lifting the front wheels off the pavement, and they work with most front-wheel drive vehicles without modification. The Demco Car Caddy SS runs $3,500 to $4,500 with 4,800 pounds of capacity, but loading eats 15 to 30 minutes, and you're stuck storing a 600 to 700 pound dolly at camp. Before you commit to any of these setups, a few realities will shape your experience more than the choice of equipment itself. Campground access catches more people off guard than almost anything else. 53% of national park campgrounds can accommodate a 45-foot motorhome on its own, but tack on a 15-foot flat-towed car for a 60-foot overall length, and that number drops to basically 0. A built-in car garage carries a genuine edge here, since a 45-foot motorhome with an integrated garage stays at 45 feet and fits in the same sites as any other coach that size. Licensing turns out to be far simpler than most new motorhome owners expect. Federal regulations exempt personally owned non-commercial RVs from CDL requirements regardless of weight, and most states follow that exemption. California stands as the main outlier, requiring a non-commercial Class B license for motorhomes over 40 feet or 26,000 pounds, while New York asks for a Class D with an R endorsement, covering a Class A motorhome with insurance costs between $1,000 and $4,000 annually for recreational use, and luxury coaches valued above $500,000 need specialized programs running $3,000 to $8,000 or more. A car stored inside a motorhome garage still requires its own separate auto policy, which surprises a fair number of first-time garage motorhome buyers. Fuel consumption for a Class A diesel pusher settles around 7 to 8 miles per gallon over distance, and flat towing a car shaves off roughly half a mile to a mile and a half per gallon on top of that. At $4 a gallon for diesel, every mile costs about 57 cents, which means a 1,000-mile trip burns through roughly $570 in fuel alone. 342,220 RV units shipped in 2025, according to RVIA data, marking a modest 2.5% bump over 2024. Median owner age dropped to 49, and the premium segment above $200,000 grew faster than any other tier at over 10% compound annual growth, which tells you exactly where buyer appetite is trending. American and European solutions are converging. Hauler and Renegade keep expanding what Super C platforms can accomplish domestically. Manufacturers are rebranding toy haulers for applications well beyond recreational toys. And the EV shift is creating a strange paradox, because no flat towable electric vehicle exists today, which suddenly makes garage-equipped motorhomes with onboard EV chargers look like the most forward-thinking option on the market. For most retired Americans heading out in a Class A diesel pusher, flat towing a Jeep Wrangler at $3,000 to $5,000 installed remains the smartest and most practical call. Buyers with a bigger budget can step up to a Hauler or Renegade Super C with a true car garage in the $400,000 to $700,000 range, built right in Indiana. And for anyone chasing the absolute peak of what's possible, a Vöhner mobile performance starts at $1.7 million, with a sports car gliding out from underneath your living room on a hydraulic platform. Every price point has a working solution, and the only real question left is which one matches the way you actually travel. Thanks for watching. If this helped you think through your setup, go ahead and hit subscribe, because we cover everything in the RV and vehicle world that matters to people who are actually out on the road.